So in this video, we're going to do some advanced pivot table topics. Uh, Make sure that you're working with the Unit 2 Big Data small data set and that you have formatted your data as a table. Okay, we're going to create a pivot table. So from the Table Tools design, I'm clicking on Summarize with Pivot Table. But actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and give our table a name. So on the left side, right now it's just defaults to table 1. And if you were to create another table, it would be table 2. But let's actually type in, we're going to call it sales data. As you work with more tables in your spreadsheet, you're going to want to name your table after something that resembles the data so that it's a little bit easier to identify rather than just table 1, table 2, table 3. Okay, so once we've done that, I'm going to click on Summarize with Pivot Table. It'll select the table by default, so Sales Data Table, and then we are going to place our table in a new worksheet. So I'll keep the defaults and then click OK. As I did in the last video, I'm going to rename my sheet as Summary. Click in, if the field list ever disappears, you can click onto the pivot table anywhere in the pivot table and it'll reappear. You also have these options. For example, I can deselect field list, then select it for it to appear. We're going to look at total revenue by country and product category again. So if I bring country to my columns area, product category to my rows, and then revenue to my values, I'm going to format my revenue as, I think I'm going to choose accounting this time. I like having the symbol on the left side like that. So make sure you've formatted your numbers as we did in the last video. And then we're also going to have a filter for year. One additional thing I wanted to add was, let's say I wanted to see not just accessories, but maybe what specific types of accessories. So I want to add the subcategory to our pivot table. I'm going to drag subcategory under product category, and now you'll see that all of the subcategories are listed in my pivot table. If I don't like this view, I can, for example, maybe to begin with, I just want to see the categories without the subcategories. You can click on these expand and collapse buttons. So if I wanted to collapse, I just click on the minus. To expand, I click on the plus. Another way that you could expand or collapse all of the categories at one time is to use these expand fields and then collapse fields on your menu bar. So you could toggle between the two. Okay. So now we have the ability to view our data by category or by subcategory. And the next thing that I want to do is, let's say I'm going to collapse these. Let's say that I wanted to sort my data by revenue. So I want the category with the highest revenue first and the column with the highest, the country with the highest revenue first also. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and give these column headings something, like some labels that are a little bit more user-friendly. So instead of sum of revenue, I'm going to call this total revenue. And instead of row labels, these are our categories. And then the column labels, these are our countries. So country and category. And now I want to sort by the revenue. So if I click on my arrow and it says sort A to Z, sort Z to A, more sort options, I'm going to click more sort options. And then select descending Z to A by, instead of product category, I'm going to choose total revenue. So descending Z to A, I'm going to have the highest revenue first and then to the lowest revenue. Then click OK. So now you'll see that bikes category is listed first and the clothing category is listed last. I'm going to do the same thing with the country. Right now it's sorted alphabetically. I'm going to sort this by revenue, so more sort options, descending Z to A, and then instead of by country, I'm sorting by revenue, and then click OK. So Australia actually has, with this data set, has the highest revenue of any of the countries, and Canada has the least. The last thing I wanted to show is an ability to change. If you don't like the specific colors, you can click on the Pivot Table Tools Design, and you have an option to select just like you do for your formatting of your data table. So there's a lot of different styles available if you want to click around and find one that you like. Doesn't really matter. I mean, some of them are more readable than others. I don't think I really like the purple text. But you have those options. Again, if you want to see that menu, just click into the pivot table and then your pivot table tools will show up. So you've got an option to do different designs. You also have options to remove your totals and your subtotals, so you can turn them off or on.